Angus Lindsay. I'm from Sydney, born and bred. Just about to finish my 4th year after I get back from tour. I'm an oboist. I guess I play it because it's a bit more unique than every other instrument. Not every other instrument, but a lot of the other instruments. I played the clarinet before that, and that was a bit boring. And then I discovered that through listening to some great players that it has the ability to be a very expressive instrument, really beautiful instrument. Yeah, it's a key instrument in an orchestra, even though a lot of people probably don't actually know what an oboe is, which is half of my life is spent explaining that it's not a tuba or a bassoon. It's the small instrument.
Elena Veolia, not born in Sydney. I was born in Romania. Viola, yes. I did the violin first, which is often the case as well with viola players. I'd played violin for 10 years before I moved to viola. So I'm in my 3rd year now. I had other musical training behind me. I played the piano and saxophone, and I always found violin quite a chore. It's the one I enjoyed the least. I just didn't really enjoy the sound it made and the sound I made, really. And then I tried the viola just to see what happened, and I loved it straight away. Just a much more mellow sound. The idea that there's less opportunities for a viola player than violin is quite a wrong one, I find, because we're always in demand, it seems. It's fair to say that there's less repertoire written for the viola, but you find it in almost 99% of orchestral works. You don't always play the most exciting parts, especially compared to the violin.
Felicity Dukakis. Central Coast originally, but yes, I live in Sydney now. This is my 4th year. I'm not really sure exactly what made me choose the violin as such, but I was really lucky in that my parents were very encouraging. They used to take us to a lot of Sydney Symphony concerts when we were young, and babies' proms and all that sort of thing. And, you know, we still do go to concerts together today. So I think just that exposure and being able to see such a fantastic orchestra from such a young age is incredibly inspiring. It's just such a brilliant, versatile instrument. There's centuries of repertoire to be able to choose from.
Jillian Williams. I am from Sydney. I'm in the middle of my 2nd year. French horn. It's a brass instrument. It's considered one of the trickiest instruments to play, just because of the nature, way it's shaped, the way the tubing's put together. Also to do with the small size of the mouthpiece and then the rather large size of the bell. It's one of the instruments people generally don't know. It's not a well-known instrument. It actually has a huge role in terms of orchestras. I mean, in the brass area of an orchestra, you'd have 2 trumpets, 3 trombones, tuba, and you'd have 4, maybe 5 horns. And there's not that many horn players, so there's always jobs.
No, I've not been to New York, no. That's probably the one place in the US that I've actually really been interested in going. Yeah, New York, I've heard a lot of good things. Well, definitely with the history behind, Juilliard and other institutions like that. Interestingly, with the oboe is that the American technique and even the reeds are quite different. I've been taught in a European style, and you don't really ever see European players in America. So it'll be interesting to sort of compare and just get some alternate ideas about my playing.
I am curious to sort of see, hopefully we'll get to meet a lot of the students and sort of see the teaching style there, because there's definitely a different teaching style between, say, the English American compared to the German and more European ones. This will be my first time in America, actually. And I really look forward to seeing Juilliard as a school and as an institution and comparing it to the con, which was really eye-opening in other tours as well. You really realise how lucky we are here in Sydney. And a lot of people think, Australia is so detached from the rest of the musical world. But it's really not the case, I've found.
And also to be able to collaborate with an institution like Juilliard is an amazing opportunity. So I think it's going to be a fantastic experience for everyone and really inspiring. I suppose I'm hoping for perhaps some new ideas. So, being able to see what people over in America are doing and perhaps bring some of that back with me, and just inspiration as well, being able to see all these wonderful players and keep working hard so I'm able to get to that same sort of level eventually.
I'm just really interested to sort of see the standard that they have over there, because you always hear how difficult it is to get into Juilliard as a music student, and I want to know whether I'm and the rest of the orchestra is up to that standard. I go there and the players are a million times better than me, then that'll probably give me a kick up the bum.
Well, there's always this element of not necessarily competition, but just comparing yourselves. And I think I speak on behalf of everyone going on the tour. We are a little bit anxious about especially Juilliard and San Francisco and those schools, but I don't think we necessarily have a reason to be.
Someone said, if you want to travel the world, join a band. Yeah, so I've never been to New York, so this is pretty exciting.
I'm hoping in New York as well we might get a chance to go to a show on Broadway or something like that as well.
Just getting the chance to go is amazing. Then having the fact that it is the first is even bigger.
Well, hopefully. I'm not sure how many of those students would have come to Australia before, and I wonder if they think that we'll be much worse than them and they're expecting them to be, themselves to be way above us, and whether that'll be the case.
And there's some people going who I don't know as well, so it'll be really nice to be able to get to know them a bit better.
Well, Emery, I think he's a great conductor, mostly based on the fact that he brings the orchestra together. There's times to be serious, there's times to have fun, and I think Emery knows that exactly. And he's good at bringing out the music in students.
Professor Paulo is a unique conductor, which you probably, all conductors are very different, and he's great. He really supports us as students and what we're doing. The fact he's giving up his time to join us on tour and to have all these rehearsals leading up to it we're very lucky and fortunate.
I think the main thing with Maestro Emery is he interacts really well with the orchestra, so he doesn't take it too seriously, and he's always prepared to have a bit of a joke. He gets the job done and is serious when he has to.
Well, Emery, he's always around. He's always walking in and out of the con. He's always stops to say hi, and when you're working, or says good job after a concert. So he's friendly, always friendly and supportive, and nice if you make a mistake.
What can you say? He's a really lovely guy, yeah. Great sense of humour, but yeah, just a lovely man.
He's very realistic about it. He knows that after a concert we will be going out. We won't be going straight to bed and rehearsing at 7 the next day.
I think it just makes orchestral rehearsals just a bit more enjoyable, rather than have some boring old fart up the front.
Especially on tours like this, you get to really know professors and staff members and our Dean, Kim Walker, more than just someone that sort of an authoritative member of staff. They really become friends with you and they get to interact with you, and you sit and have breakfast with them and you realise that they're actually human beings who have gone through the same things as you, not just become amazing overnight.
Between concerts, I try and sit by myself a bit, think about how many hours you've spent practicing, and it all comes down to that one performance. Some people play and practice more. I like to just focus and think and clear my head. If you've got too much stuff going on, then in your head it's too much noise, background noise, to try and calm down before.
I find being in a quiet environment beforehand really good, because it gets you in the focus. If you've just come from a room with screaming musicians and walk onto a stage where you have to then be proper and there's applause, but then you have to sit through speeches and things, you're really not the right state of mind.
Yeah, I don't have sort of a really set process as such, but yeah, it's mainly just a warm up and then mental preparation.
And I'm also a firm believer in eating a banana before you play.
The big thing is just trying to relax and mentally prepare.
I know the Sydney Symphony down the road do the same thing. They get given bananas in interval.
I suppose psych up for the performance.
You do some kind of visualisation of what it's going to be like and trying to get yourself focused for what the performance is going to be like.
I hope they're in season in America when we go.